Imagine buying a $100,000 asset for 40 cents on the dollar. It can be done. It's called discounted note buying. Now, a note is where a document is created between a buyer and a seller, or a lender and a borrower. Let's say, for example, that a homeowner sells their house for $100,000 and they carry the financing on behalf of the buyer and they charge 8% interest for 30 years. Well, that borrower is going to pay that lender about $833 every single month for the next 30 years. However, if at any time within that relationship or in that agreement, the borrower stops making payments, that note becomes worth less money. Now, I want to take you through the stages of what we refer to as ugly notes. Now, this is any mortgage or deed of trust or contract or other debt instrument where the payments are not current and the payer has either shown an unwillingness to pay or a reluctance or inability to pay on time. Now, when you find these notes, and the borrower has missed, say, 1 or 2 payments, and the payments are still on time, but they're sporadic. They come in well past the 15-day grace period. This is what we refer to as scratch-and-dent mortgage loans. So if the face value of that note is $100,000, it wouldn't be uncommon for you to offer 96 cents on the dollar or $96,000 to purchase that $100,000 note. However, if the borrower is really sporadic and they're not paying within the 30 days, they're going 30 and 60 days late, resulting in negative credit reports. This is what we refer to as a slow paying note. Now, you can expect to pay about 92 cents on the dollar for this note. Now, if they continue to make payments within this 30 to 60 day period of time, the note still stays relatively current, but it has not gone into what we call the defaulted note period. Now, for that, we get into what's called the non-performing. This is where the borrower has stopped paying altogether and they're not responding to any collection efforts. So the person who lent the money is calling them and saying, hey, where's the $833 you owe me this month? And nobody answers the phone, nobody calls back, nobody responds to texts or emails. This is a non-performing note. Now, something like this, you can anticipate paying anywhere from 80 to 84 cents on the dollar. So again, that $100,000 note, the minute it goes into a non-performing status, you could buy it for a 20% discount, or about $80,000. If the borrower continues to not pay, the lender is going to have to take legal action. They're going to have to begin the foreclosure proceeding, which will result in either a notice of default filing or a lis pendens filing. Now, this is where the official foreclosure has been filed and the lender is taking them through the foreclosure action. Now, this is what we refer to as the notice of default stage of the note. So if you were to buy a note in that stage, you can anticipate getting that loan for 60 to 65 cents on the dollar. A $100,000 loan for 65 grand. Now imagine if that house is worth $200,000 and you're buying the debt against it for 65. That's a pretty good deal. Now, the final stage of the note business is what we call the notice of sale. Now, this is where the redemption period that exists in any foreclosure timeline in any state across the country has ended. The note is now going into what we call the 3-week advertising period, where the property is about to be sold at the courthouse steps to a group of third-party bidders. Now, if we come into the note in that moment, it's not uncommon to pay about 40 cents on the dollar to purchase that note. A $100,000 note, we get to buy it for $40,000. Now, you might be thinking, but why in the world would I want to buy a note that's not performing? Because if you can buy it when it's not performing and then work with the homeowner or the occupant on either a loan modification or a forbearance agreement, and you can work out terms where they start paying again, you can get the value of that note back up to $100,000. So your $40,000 investment becomes a $60,000 profit. If you'd like to learn more about the stages of the ugly note and how you can take advantage and get involved in this style of real estate investing, simply click the link below.